Scotland will need 11 heroes out there today if they're going to get the better of France. Last time they had an occasion such as this in the playoff against Holland, that man stepped up to the plate, James McFadden, with the goal. He's back to lead the line in the absence of Kenny Miller. So many questions for Walter Smith in the build-up to this game as to how to keep France quiet, and the questions invariably centre over that man Thierry Henry. He has scored more goals personally than every single member of the Scotland starting lineup put together. Ever since the win in Lithuania for Scotland ensured that they and France would be the 100%ers. The eyes of Group B have been on this encounter. And it's the French in white who will look to get off to a big start. Just one defeat in the last 50 years they've suffered against Scotland. It came on this ground back in 1989. Could it be that history will repeat itself here? This is James McFadden. Lilian Thuram across there.
I think Walter Smith might have been slightly surprised when he got hold of that French team sheet. I know that he did feel that in the absence of the injured Sidney Govou, that Sylvain Wiltord would come in instead. David Trezeguet is the man who gets the nod today, and it's when Dominic has adjusted his system, gone with two banks of 4 and 2 up. Thierry Henry beside Trezeguet, slightly withdrawn, but more or less a regular 4-4-2.
France who have this astonishing record, and it is nothing short of astonishing in qualification games. Just one defeat in their last 40 games in qualification for European Championships and World Cups. Here's Claude Makelele for France. Thierry Henry, first chance for him to stretch his legs. From Malouda, between them Henry and Malouda, a formidable task for Scotland to keep them quiet down this left-hand side. It's a task which you would think will be falling on the experienced shoulders of Christian Daly. Here's Willy Sagnol of Bayern Munich, Jean-Alain Boumsong, who's now playing at Juventus after he left Newcastle in the summer. Possession. Eric Abidal of Lille. And Makelele. Fizz it in towards Thierry Henry. Scotland able to break it up. Fletcher. He was buffeted into by Franck Ribéry, and Scotland have a free kick.
I think you see the difficulty already though, Bill, because we play so deep, and we all know that's down to a lack of pace at the back. We struggle when we get possession to get out. France did us a little bit of a favour. They've given away the free kick, and it gets us up the pitch a little bit. This is going to be a long game for the midfield players in terms of trying to get support up to James McFadden.
McCulloch looks for the glance on. This time the free kick goes against the Scot. Swiss man in the middle today, Massimo Busaka, and if Scotland supporters are looking for omens, he has overseen shock results before. He was the man in charge of Northern Ireland's 1-0 World Cup qualifying win against England just over a year ago. No surprise to see France see plenty of the early ball. Scotland knew that this would happen. As long as they can stop them getting into positions where they can hurt them. That was the party line during the week's build-up to this match. What a build-up it's been. So much anticipation, so much excitement, perhaps at times too much expectation. And the talking can stop, and Scotland have to do the business out there. It's his first taste of any sort of action since he was injured in the win against Lithuania. Who asked questions of Thuram. He's allowed to play on here, McFadden. James McFadden!
Well, that's exactly what we want to see from James McFadden. He's the one fellow who's not going to be faced by the names in this French side. Wasn't prepared to give it up. In the final effort, come back up Paul Hartley here, who was in a little bit too early, if anything. we want to see from James McFadden. If he is doing that in the wide areas, hopefully we can get midfield players like Hartley into the box.
Well, for all the time that France have spent with the ball, it's Scotland with the first meaningful effort on goal. Out of the vastly successful Lyon side, which has won 5 back-to-back titles in France. Boumsong, well, he's had his critics, hasn't he, Jean-Alain Boumsong, and there's no doubt that Scotland would be happier to see his name on the team sheet other than William Gallas, who's injured. Sagnol. Christian Daly. Daly, one of the players out there in blue who felt the pain of the 5-0 defeat the last time these two teams met. That was 4 years ago in Paris, the first game of the Bertie Vogts reign. France irresistible that night. This is Vieira. Malouda's found some space, looking over the top for David Trezeguet.
Trezeguet himself might have been surprised to get the nod today. Dominic usually reluctant to start with both Trezeguet and Henry.
This is Eric Abidal. Pressure from Hartley, nearly pay. Now Malouda. Vieira, the injury that threatened to keep him out was one he picked up in a training match in the week. As France prepared at their Clairefontaine base, travelled over here to Glasgow yesterday, trained on the pitch last night. There's been plenty of rain on the surface over the last 24 hours or so.
James McFadden looking for a free kick. It's Boumsong who's really tight on him. Might have been skinned there. Got a little bit too tight to James McFadden. I think the Everton striker had a case there. It's going to be a long afternoon for James McFadden. Well short of games right now.
Technically playing just in front of that Scottish back four, but he'll have to drop back in there to try and stem the French flow. Vieira, Ribéry, now Claude Makelele. Ferguson hunts him down. His first start back as captain after an injury hit start to the season. Half a dozen games for Rangers. He's given it away here. Thierry Henry. Free kick has been given.
Well, not a difficult decision. It was Gary Caldwell who's desperate to try and get a challenge in before Thierry Henry got inside the 18-yard box. Little change of pace took him clear there. Clumsy challenge. A real chance here for France to work Craig Gordon.
Vital for Scottish hopes that they don't go behind early against this all-star French lineup. Thierry Henry, who scored his last 2 goals in the Champions League and the English Premiership with his head, now tries to add to his tally for his country from this free kick.
It's a big target to Craig Gordon's left, I have to say. Must be inviting.
It's Henry! Hit the woodwork! Trezeguet looks to follow in for France. Now Sagnol. And behind, Scotland escape.
Well, he seems slow to react here, Craig Gordon. I think he may have been foxed here. He's expecting that to go to his right-hand side. Just been out-foxed by Henry. Look at the way he works the ball. The action he gets on it. Late whip onto the post. And a real let-off for Scotland.
One of those that could have gone anywhere, and if you are going to get a result out of a game like this, you need a bit of luck. Scotland dipping deep into the pot of luck early on in the first 10 minutes. It's a passage of play which has served to silence the hand and roar. It's looking ominous with Henry inching forward again. Brought down by Weir, the free kick given.
Oh, David Weir's complaining, but I really don't think he's got a case here. A step over, it takes Henry clear. That's not a difficult decision for the referee. And again, that's another downside of defending as deep as this. You're making challenges on the edge of your box that you'd rather be making much further up the pitch.
No surprises to see who is heavily involved in this again. Thierry Henry. It's a little further out than the one that just rattled the upright. Florent Malouda, the left footer from Lyon, is the other man in the mix. It's Henry again, this time much more comfortable for Craig Gordon.
He took up a far more central position there, Craig Gordon. The one he was going to spill there.
In European qualification, France's record is nothing short of awesome. On their way to the European Championships in Portugal in 2004, won every single qualifying game. 7 years since they last failed to win a qualifier, and that was a draw against Ukraine, who are next up for Scotland on Wednesday in Kiev.
No real surprise here to see that France have had most of the ball. I don't think that'll bother Walter Smith too much, only one statistic he's interested in. I'll just be grateful that we're through this first 5 minutes or so without loss.
Saying in the build-up, Walter Smith, how he is just the latest in a long line of managers to try and plot the downfall of this excellent French side. Comprehensive winners last time out against the world champions Italy. Abidal able to get away from Hartley. Now Makelele in snaps Fletcher. Scotland are going to need plenty of that.
That's where you want to be making tackles, Bill, as far up the pitch as possible. That's where you want to press the ball ideally.
Frank Ribéry, Trezeguet makes inroads in the centre. This is Makelele. Well, Henry and Sagnol got in each other's way. Just a hint of drizzle in the air, a blustery old afternoon in Glasgow too. And a Scotland free kick. Thuram underneath it. Boumsong got the touch there, good pressure from Scotland though. Now McCulloch, little flick on, looking for McFadden. McCulloch not far away from getting on the knockdown. This is where Scotland have to be careful. 4 white shirts bursting forward. Man on the ball is Thierry Henry. Ribéry wants it played. Away by Weir. It's fallen back for Henry. Hartley back to help out.
I thought about Craig Gordon. It was just a little bit too close to his goalkeeper to knock anything back to him. No harm done though.
See Jean-Alain Boumsong. Had a spell in this city, of course, at Ibrox before his move to Newcastle United in the Premiership. Well, Scotland set out their stall early on. They knew that they weren't going to go gung-ho against France. You can't afford to, or they will destroy you. An early French storm in terms of possession, and that one close shave coming back off the post. Scotland just need to keep their belief, keep their composure. We've already seen through that effort from McFadden that possible chances there. Ferguson. This is Christian Daly. Ribery thought Vieira was going to take it. It's allowed Scotland in. Here's Darren Fletcher. Going to get beyond Willie Sagnon.
There's nobody to link with there. That's a problem again. Dan Fletcher just trying to get us up the pitch. Walter Smith really had an option today in terms of how he was going to approach this. We don't have any pace at the back, we can't close the game up. We really had to defend pretty deep. That in turn brings the midfield back on top of the back line, and it's leaving James McFadden up on his own.
All the games for Kenny Miller to miss suspended. This was perhaps one where Scotland needed it most. We'll be back, of course, on Wednesday against the Ukraine. This is Florent Malouda for France.
Oh, he's given a free kick, I think. Legitimate attempt by Christian Daly to win it. Well, I took the top of the ball, but it's certainly a free kick.
And this is in the territory for Frank Ribery to try and whip one in. Mentioned a few moments ago, Thierry Henry's in good goal-scoring form with his head. Jean-Alain Boumsong has come forward from the back. It's a vastly athletic, tall, strong French side. Plenty of targets in there for Ribery to look to pick out. Scotland have built a blue wall across their penalty area. Caldwell doesn't want them to drop too deep. In by Ribery. Vieira, 1-0 France! But the flag is up!
Well, it's into a horrible area for Craig Gordon. Not convinced he could come for this. I'll tell you what, he's onside. Very little daylight there. Don't think the white shirt did him any favours. Maybe flagged it up that he's gone just a fraction off.
Still, Scotland hold on to a clean sheet, but only just. Malouda, Henry breezes away from Barry Ferguson into that wide left position he likes to take up so much. And Scotland are able to take up possession now through Fletcher and Caldwell. McFadden felt he got a nudge from Jean-Alain Boumsong. The Swiss referee and his assistant take a look at each other and decide there's no case to answer. A little bit of space for Eric Abidal on the left-hand side for France. Going to pick out Malouda. It's the fifth meeting between these two sides on Scottish soil. France with just the one win. France with the three, the last of those 17 and a half years ago, and critically, Scotland have kept clean sheets in all three of their home wins against France. It will be a mighty, mighty task if they are able to do that again. Already one off the post today, and an offside goal ruled out as McFadden looks to open the door.
It's a really ball by Barry Ferguson to get it into his feet, and that's easier said than done between Makelele in front of James McFadden and the two centre-backs behind him. Really struggling to get him on the ball.
Malouda, Ribéry, the return now, brings in Sagnol. Sagnol, great pace on that ball.
And flag stayed down as well. He's outside the front post here, he's just got to get the slightest little nick in this. Again, it's a tight decision, he's in slightly early, maybe a little bit behind him. This was the moment that really mattered, another break for Scotland, the offside flag goes up. From that angle he looks, well, just a shade off. Certainly no daylight. We'll take that kind of decision all day this afternoon.
Thought he'd scored his first goal since the win against Spain in the World Cup knockout phase. Wasn't to be for Vieira, not that time anyway. He's one of three French players making inroads forward here. It's Patrick Vieira trying to work it through. Come on, Presley! The flag up. Trezeguet denied.
That's the correct decision again. The assistant kept the flag down as he made the run in, but the minute he touches the ball, he's offside. He's offside there. And when he takes part here, the assistant's got to put his flag up. Say what, I think a good movement up front of him.
So keen David Trezeguet to banish the memory of Berlin. The only penalty missed in the shootout was by Trezeguet. Hasn't played for his country since then. He's one of two players in this French side now to play outside one of the top European leagues. He's one of those who stayed with Juventus. Now plays in Serie B. He's the top scorer there, incidentally. You'd expect that, though, I suppose, wouldn't you?
Good to see that man back, fit enough to wear the armband. There's been a debate up here, one that I don't understand really. It shouldn't be an automatic choice, but on a day when we'll be tossed if we don't keep the ball, he'd have been the first name on my team sheet today, Barry Ferguson.
Abidal, Malouda. So often when there's a gap in the Scottish rearguard, there's a white French shirt to fill it. Vieira keeps hold of possession. This is now Willy Sagnol. Terrific movement again. Trezeguet to try to work it to Ribéry. Broken up by Graham Alexander at Preston. So often in this French system, Davey, you see Claude Makelele and Vieira both sitting, but ominously for Scotland, Vieira's getting forward well in the opening half of this first half.
It's just a straight 4-4-2. They played the two holding players and then three in front of them against Italy. Less cautious system this afternoon. Clearly fancy this.
McFadden working hard. This is Makelele, closed down by Fletcher, fouled by Darren Fletcher.
Yeah, it's good refereeing. He tried to let the play develop in France's favour there. There was no advantage for them. The clip here by Darren Fletcher.
Scotland coming into this game on the back of their best start in 12 years to European qualification. Their hopes were high after the win against the Faroes, which in the past has proved to be such a difficult one to get over, particularly under Bertie Vogts, that 2-2 draw away, which everyone remembered. Memories of that now banished after the 6-0 win, and then an excellent win away against Lithuania. But this is a different level of test in what is such a difficult group. Willy Sagnol, one of those whipped-in crosses. Malouda!
It's not far away, and that's what we'll see from Florent Malouda this afternoon. When Thierry Henry does drift left, Malouda will become a second striker, and he's right in the central area here as that half volley sits up for him. Fortunately enough, it's always moving left to right away from that far post.
He's a wide midfielder, but he's a wide midfielder, Florent Malouda, who likes to get among the goals. He's averaged for Lyon so far this season. Charadoulier's side, a goal every other game. He's got 4 in 8. He's already scored for his country this year as well. France on their win against Georgia in that opening European qualification match. Claude Makelele. And Vieira. Ribéry. Vieira into the feet of Henry, who was hoping for a better understanding with Trezeguet there.
It's okay. I think in some ways the fact that France have gone with 2 up has simplified it a little bit. We don't have 3 playing against their lone striker. 3 against 2, there's a little bit of insurance there.
He's a man who certainly had to endure some pressure, Ramon Domenech, the French coach. Unhappy start to their World Cup qualification campaign. Even though they didn't lose a game, they were drawing a fair few, but after taking them to the World Cup finals and the start they've made to this qualification campaign, he's signed up for another 4 years as French international manager. You see Sagnol come forward now. Barry Ferguson back to head clear. Ribéry, Patrick Vieira. Malouda allowed to carry a long way. Good work from McFadden tracking back.
I don't know if he should be doing that though. Not got much left in his legs if he's making that kind of run. Plenty of blue jerseys goal side to do that shift for him.
I suppose it's a balance for players like James McFadden, and there are others in the Scotland side like Lee McCulloch, Christian Daly, who hasn't played a lot of first-team football for West Ham this season. He's got to find that balance between the adrenaline that must be coursing through their veins on a day like this and the sense of just not overdoing things early on. So far so good. They've ridden their luck, Scotland. They knew they'd have to, but a long, long way to go to keep out France. This is Hartley. They want to test Jean-Alain Boumsong here.
That'll do nicely. First time Paul Hartley's managed to get himself ahead of the ball. In the absence of Kenny Miller, it's the kind of out ball we need in the channels.
His 10th cap today, Paul Hartley, the Hearts midfielder. In by Christian Daly. Referee very quick to blow for a foul, and now Lee McCulloch was the man penalised.
Surprised to see Scotland putting the ball in the box, and I think anything we get in the French half of the pitch, whether it's a throw in near the byline or a free kick, I think we've got to get the ball in the box and try and play off Lee McCulloch.
Eric Abidal. Malouda away from Trezeguet. McCulloch. Scotland just starting to taste a rare bit of possession. Patrick Vieira. Swept on by Henry. Again, Sagnol invited forward. Made by David Weir. Risky stuff from Scotland. They got away with it though. Ferguson works it out to Christian Daly. There's McFadden working hard, but Boumsong could get there first.
That could be a booking, yeah. Just beaten by the pace there of Jean-Alain Boumsong, and James McFadden was well late. Defending by the centre-back, who took a lot of stick last season in the Premiership, but that's a straight yellow card.
Fortunately for Scotland, he's not one of the three players they have who'd missed a trip to the Ukraine in book today. Those are Christian Daly, Gary Caldwell and Darren Fletcher as well. We've lost one centre-half through injury in William Gallas. Jean-Alain Boumsong's going to be okay here though. And this is Lilian Thuram, his 124th cap for France today. Thuram, Barcelona man now, of course. Says everything about him, that the fact at the age of 34, Frank Rijkaard and Barca saw fit to pay well over £3 million for him. Henry. Now McCulloch. Just took on too much, and Vieira and Makelele combine again in midfield for France. Trezeguet for Henry. Direct approach from Henry, now enlisting the help of Franck Ribéry, the young man from Marseille. It's a wonderful exhibition of possession football from France. Kept going by Makelele. Now Ribéry. Scotland still chasing shadows as Henry finds Ribéry.
Good defending, Bill. They can have as many passes as they want as long as it's in front of us. So one in behind will give you the problem. Scotland doing pretty well.
Henry again. Malouda goes for distance, and a fine save by Gordon. And Trezeguet's offside.
Oh, it took an awful long time to go and press the ball there. England had all the time in the world to get ahead up there. It's Christian Daly who backs off and backs off. Again, the assistant waited until Trezeguet touched the ball before raising the flag.
And Florent Malouda has brought his shooting boots with him, always ominous. It's too simplistic to say the French threat comes through Thierry Henry. Here's the top goal scorer they had, 37 in 88 caps. He earns his 89th today, but you've got Trezeguet who has 32, and you've got Ribéry, Vieira, Malouda, all of whom have a significant number of goals for their country. Vieira looks for the free kick there, and it's a yellow card. Scotland's second. Lee McCulloch this time.
Swiss referee right on the spot as well. Lee McCulloch just wrong side at this point. Not in a position to make a clean tackle. I don't think we're seeing anything that's surprising us here, Bill. We knew that France would have most of the ball. We knew we'd have a problem getting up and getting out.
Not significantly, France have had the ball in the back of the Scotland goal twice. Both ruled out for offside. Henry's free kick coming back off the upright. Still goalless. Sagnol. Vieira. Plenty of international action coming up for you this Wednesday. It all starts with Croatia against England. That's on Sky Sports 1 from 5:30. Then Wales against Cyprus. You can see that on Sky Sports 2 from 8 o'clock. And the Republic of Ireland, they take on the Czech Republic. That from 7:30 on Sky Sports 1. A loose clearance from Coupé. Hartley couldn't capitalise.
Good cover by Makelele. Quick to press the ball as Paul Hartley sized up the shot there.
He's had precious little to do, the Lyon goalkeeper, Gregory Coupé. Ferguson.
Again, there's no out ball there. James McFadden comes short. Not surprisingly, wants it into feet, but this is a day where we could really have done with Kenny Miller running the channels for us.
Makelele, as part of that Real Madrid side that won the Champions League on this ground back in 2002, Claude Makelele. A memorable evening for that Zinedine Zidane volley that won it for Real Madrid against Bayer Leverkusen. Makelele, Malouda's made the run. Abidal offers support. Abidal into Ribéry, who's come across to this left-hand side to try and provide the spark for France. Significantly though, Davey, Thierry Henry looks to be struggling out there at the moment.
He had a clash with Paul Harton a couple of moments ago. Dominic will be hoping he can run it off.
Ferguson perfectly positioned there as McCulloch dispossessed by Willy Sagnol.
It doesn't look too bad, unfortunately, dare I say.
10 minutes left on the first half. Scotland 0, France 0. Good steal by McFadden, but he's on his own against 5 white-shirted Frenchmen. Fletcher hunting down Abidal, who has pace to burn. Back to his club colleague Gregory Coupet.
Good pressure from Darren Fletcher. And when he tried to press Abidal, Hartley and Ferguson were doing the same thing. Hopefully we can make an angle here, get something into the box. And McCulloch get the hand up at the back post.
McFadden. Looking for Ferguson. That's Henry back there. And Scotland have their first corner.
Oh, I've got to say, terrific defensive awareness from Henry as well. Lovely little reverse here. And Henry was ahead of Barry Ferguson before he could get the ball in front of himself.
37 minutes played, the first corner of the match. And you can hear by the roar around Hampden, it is a Scottish corner. It is Paul Hartley to take it. And saved by Gregory Coupet.
It's a clean header from Gary Caldwell. Going to do well to score from there. Where is it? Penalty spot, 12 yards out, just about. With the defender in either post, he's going to do really well to score.
Looking to add to his one goal for his country so far, Gary Caldwell. This is Thierry Henry. Whatever was bothering him doesn't appear to be doing so anymore. Willy Sagnol. France players buzzing around that Scotland penalty area. The blue defensive line stands strong. It'd be a big psychological hurdle if Scotland could make it to half-time without conceding. Abidal. A slip by Ribéry, but what a recovery! He's spinning Florent Malouda. Blocked away by Presley. And Alexander had come across to help as well. Boomsong got to win it with something to spare against McFadden that time, wasn't he? This is Vieira. Now Ribéry. Makelele. And Sagnol. Sagnol's crossing deserts him.
A little bit of relief too for that Scottish backline. It's been coming back at them in waves at the moment. A bit of respite.
This is Lee McCulloch. Helped by Hartley. McFadden, flag up.
Must have been tight. He had Christian Daly right side. Oh, the assistant allowed the play to go on. Malouda.
it out, takes Daly out of play with a run down that left-hand side, but France decide to work it to Sagnol again, and Ribéry. Vieira looks to turn away from Fletcher, no foul. Darren Fletcher. Vieira got the touch in, but it's fallen kindly for Scotland and for Hartley. Here comes Christian Daly.
I don't think he had anyone to hit anyway apart from James McFadden. It's so difficult at times for the midfield, you know, who are protecting the back line, to make up the ground when Scotland do break.
Such a difficult balance, isn't it, for Walter Smith to keep things in order at the back and try and stifle this awesome French firepower while troubling them at the other end.
It's effectively a flat back five Bill we're playing with.
And this is Ribéry threatening to get in behind it. He's got the better of McCulloch. Unable to pick out anyone with his cross though. Hartley now. McFadden.
Good defending, should have been allowed to play on there. Armstrong's played James McFadden really well so far.
Vieira for Ribéry. Vieira's continued his run into the centre to provide a little bit more height alongside Trezeguet and Henry. Will fall to Sagnol to try and get it in. He's got plenty of time here, Willy Sagnol. Scotland hold firm, just. Feels for handball against Willy Sagnol. It's away by Caldwell, but not convincingly so. There's a composed boot on the ball by Paul Hartley.
A great width provided by Sagnol. A great block at the front post from David Weir, who managed to get himself across there to squeeze that front post area. And when Ribéry does come off the right-hand touchline, Sagnol goes into the space. David Weir steps out and does really well there. Gary Caldwell, I think, who's under pressure here. We'll see it out. I'd love to see out what remains of this first half as well.
Brave hearts but cool heads is what was the order of the day for Scotland. As France threatened to turn up the heat, they're still holding firm. That's the Scotland throw. Ribéry wanted more. Ribéry, one of the new guard of French players coming through. Replace the likes of Fabien Barthez and Zinedine Zidane, names for almost a decade. The heart of French football, both now retired. And as the minutes tick on, so the belief grows among the Tartan army. Hesitate to say it, but nearly halfway there.
We just want to get them in there without loss at half-time. Get them sat down, get them calmed down.
Giroud. Abidal. Malouda. Scotland won't want to switch off in these closing minutes, and Paul Hartley certainly hasn't done that. Ribéry. Vieira. Hartley again well positioned to retake possession for the home side. McFadden couldn't hold on to it. It's a mighty tough job.
Yeah, it looks like a player at the moment, Bill, who needs games. I just wonder, be very surprised if he goes the distance here. especially in that role this afternoon. So much running to do.
Henry, lovely ball slid through to Florent Malouda, but terrific defending by Gary Caldwell.
It certainly was. To be fair, we've defended the front post well on either side. Good awareness by Caldwell, he's out immediately, making sure it's not going to come across the 6-yard box.
Well, France, in the last minute of this first half, have their first corner. Boumsong is forward. Slip from Bailey as he got it clear. It's back with Ribéry. The error stayed in there. It was Boumsong, I think, who threw himself at it and got the contact, but got the contact over.
When you're as deep as that, you're always liable to lose one from a header. There's good pace in the ball, and he hung the corner up, but there's a bit more pace about that. Certainly within scoring range there.
Keen to play down any French overconfidence in the build-up to this match. He says he sees Scotland as a real group rival in terms of qualification. They showed enough in the opening 2 qualifiers, and they've showed enough in the opening 45 minutes here that they have enough to frustrate France. They've had to ride their luck. Thierry Henry rattled the post. Patrick Vieira rifled the back of the net. But Scotland stands strong. Half-time, it is Scotland 0, France 0.
So far, so good. Charlie Nicholas.
Thanks, Richard. Well, there has never been a draw between these two nations in the 13 times they've met up to now. Scotland would certainly settle for that scoreline in 45 minutes' time, but boy, is it going to be a long 45 minutes for those men in dark blue down there. Only half the job is done. You would think things are not going to get any easier at all. No changes, by the way, for either side at half-time, so by the look of things, Scotland will continue with James McFadden playing the Kenny Miller role, if you like, on his own up front. He and David Weir playing in midweek in a friendly match at Wisnes' Rugby League Stadium against Sheffield United. That's the only match practice of note they've had in recent weeks. And they keep the French machine at bay. This is Florent Malouda. Two Scots booked in the first half. France with a keep clean disciplinary bill. Ferguson. He's got the better of Makelele here.
He did well to get anything into the box at all. 2 against 1 out in the touchline. And I don't think Paul Hartley, who eventually managed to get himself to the front post, was expecting the ball to come in at all.
Thierry Henry. And the suspicions of an injury in the first half will prove, disappointingly for Scotland no doubt, to be unfounded. He's out there looking equally menacing, but Scotland come forward here. A situation that they'll feel they didn't make the most of. Sagnon. Route 1 stuff looking for Henry, who was well shepherded by Christian Daly.
Good visit from Christian Daly. He defends the back post area so well, arguably happier at centre-back. Gets up really early.
And he set Scotland on their way to victory in their last outing out in Lithuania. Won't get many chances to get forward tonight. McFadden. He's got Vieira back there now to contend with.
So often today he's been 2 against 1 or 3 against 1. his lack of games, he must be feeling this pace even already.
Vidal tears forward for France in towards Malouda. Well tidied up by Caldwell.
Terrific tackle because Christian Daly was wrong side there. Malouda was inside him.
There is Christian Daly, the most capped Scot out there. It's his 64th cap for his country today. Just one behind Willie Miller now in the Hall of Fame. Sagnol, Henry, this is Ribéry. Daly got the tackle in. The French wave will continue though through Henry. Alexander's given it away to Ribéry. There's enough glue back there to just suffocate any danger. Now McCulloch. Fletcher's challenge, he's got away with it, no foul. And he spins an inviting ball for McFadden to chase. Across comes Boumsong! McFadden off balance and wide.
First clean chance of the match. Boumsong's looking for a free kick, reckoned it was tugged. He looked second favourite here, James McFadden, but all of a sudden he's in behind Boumsong. And even though the angle's closing, well, that has to go down as a decent half chance for Scotland. Arguably the first of the game as well.
Danger signs at the other end as Gordon takes the ball. Now is he clattered by Thierry Henry? I think the free kick's been given.
I don't think Henry does much wrong there. He doesn't know much about that. His eyes are on the ball. Makes a bridge there for Craig Gordon. There's another decision we'll take. Well, first clean chance you would say of the match. James McFadden, 2 against 1 again as he's been all day. And he had a little tug there on Boumsong, blindside of the referee. And Walter Smith for a moment thought we might have been going ahead.
Gordon, who appears to have shaken off that knock with Henry. Henry was very apologetic for the part he played, it has to be said. A hand involved in there, it was the Scottish runner Paul Hartley. Trezeguet, a man to pull wide this time. Ribéry takes his position in the centre. Now Sagnol. Awkward one. Presley wasn't sure what was behind him. He put it behind for a corner.
Oh, he crosses the ball at a natural wide player, Willie Sagnol. It's a terrific ball in. Takes Craig Gordon out of the game. Fortunately, no back post runner for the French.
The height in the Scotland penalty area provided by Vieira. Henry and Trezeguet in there too. It's work back to Ribéry who gets that angle. Great block by Fletcher. Now it's the menace of Sagnol for Scotland to contest with. Well done, James McFadden. Composure by Graham Alexander.
He's coming back his way though, Bill. No out ball. Convinced the referee saw that. I think Paul Hartley was late there on Thuram, and the acknowledgement there, Paul Hartley now going to cross to see if he's alright. Seen it so often, defender clearing the ball, Hartley coming in leading with the studs. It's a sore one on the top of the foot.
Offside flag up against Thierry Henry.
And was up right away from Gary Caldwell.
forward. Thuram didn't control it quite as he would have liked. And Alexander fouled by Patrick Vieira.
Just as well they gave it, otherwise they were breaking onto us.
Well, the way that Scotland have started this second half, Davey.
Well, we're getting blue jerseys forward now, Bill. That wasn't the case in the first half. I think in this situation, we want to put the ball in the box if we can.
Fletcher does just that, but the flag is up. Although Abidal got there ahead of Caldwell.
I think that's the best bet. Put it in the box, play for a second ball. I'll tell you what, that is tight again.
Sadly, a little more positivity about the way Scotland have started this second half. 70% of the possession was in French hands in the first half. Scotland's hopes of getting a result very, very hard and almost impossible if it continues like that. And here's Thierry Henry, though, shepherded by Presley, assisted by Malouda. Henry again, and Malouda, who's got the pace.
Brilliant defending. Brilliant defending by Christian Daly there. Malouda's no slouch. He looked to be half a yard clear here, but Christian Daly made up the ground, just muscled him out.
We talked about possession in the first half. Look at that for so far in the second, Davey.
Well, I think the encouraging thing is we're further up the pitch as well. We're not defending on top of Craig Gordon.
Walter talked in the build-up, didn't he, of not overestimating the French, not giving them too much respect. Was that something that they did in the first half, perhaps? Understandably cautious when you're up against the calibre of players that France have. Did the job to get it to half-time. Different sort of a job required of Scotland to see it through to the conclusion. Trezeguet was waiting, Presley with the interception.
He's had to make that run. He's chased all the lost causes, James McFadden. That run he's made all day, or all evening. And it must be taking a toll.
Malouda. Give and go with Thierry Henry. Trezeguet in the centre. Ribéry pulls back on the edge of the penalty area. Henry wanted to go himself and was taken out in no uncertain terms by Caldwell.
That's good cover. We get cover over eventually, but they managed to get Henry isolated here on Christian Daly. And he's on his way here, but for the intervention of Gary Caldwell.
Another French corner. Another chance for Ribéry. Massimo Boussaka, the Swiss referee, has just spotted a few shenanigans inside the penalty area. Caldwell and Henry, the centre of his attentions. Whipped by Ribéry on the Glasgow breeze. Thuram. Hartley got in the way that time. It's away by Daly. It's one of the main problems Scotland are having at the moment. For all the good defensive work they're doing, they can't make the ball stick up front. Might be why Walter Smith is thinking about a change. Gary Teal, I can see getting ready, who would provide fresh legs.
Presumably for one of the wide midfield players. Liam McCullers had so few games as well. He might be the candidate coming off. McFadden again, I think it's fortunate, and I think he knows where his left foot is. Tell you what, that is daft from James McFadden. just wonder how much he has left of this game, Jane McFadden. Gary O'Connor, Chris Boyd on the bench. I'd be surprised if we don't see them at some stage.
Well, here comes Walter Smith, Scotland's first change, and it's got a distinctly Wigan flavour about it. Lee McCulloch, who has seen precious little football recently, will be replaced by Gary Teale. Teale, who comes on and earns his 5th cap.
He's going to have to be aware of Samuel. At times Ribery is pulling Graham Alexander right inside, and Samuel's getting into that space, and Teale, who's far happier in the front foot, is going to have to be aware of Samuel's movement.
Think of the efforts that France have had so far, the goals ruled out for offside, Trezeguet, and perhaps more controversially Patrick Vieira, the Thierry Henry free kick which came back off the post in the opening minutes of the game. Malouda.
Again, he set up 2 passes here because he's under pressure. It's Paul Hartley who tracked him back 40-50 yards there. Scotland looking for the throw-in, but it's gone the other way.
Henry has dancing feet again. The flag has stayed down, run out by Malouda.
Scotland are certainly looking for an offside here. David Weir is playing him on here on the near side. And assistant spot on.
Almost an hour of the job done for Scotland. 0-0 against the World Cup finalists. Against the side who have won their last 12 European qualifying matches. And also against the side who have scored in their last 9 games. A lack of concentration from Vieira. Now Teale. Scotland able to use his pace. He's just edged out by Thuram. There's the experience of the Frenchman.
That's where they want to try and get Gary Teale up the outside there of the 2 centre-backs.
Sagnol. Vieira. And Makaleli. Drizzle over Hampden Park now. Just see there, Henry losing his footing. That might be a reason why, as Malouda sees a shot blocked away. France have decided it is time for a change. Louis Saha, the focus of much talk in the newspapers in the build-up to the match over the was-he, wasn't-he injured scenario. Well, David Trezeguet is the man who's going to make way. One of the players in the first half to have the ball in the back of the Scotland net. And here comes Louis Saha. Well, we know his club manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, who looks on from the stands here, wasn't happy about the fact he was called up because of the injuries he's had. You would assume then he won't be too happy seeing Saha come on for the closing half hour or so. One change apiece then, and Saha getting right into the mix. And that congested Scotland penalty area.
Again, that gets us out. Free kick by Makaleli there on Barry Ferguson. it's the last thing that central three of Walter Smith wants to see at the pace of Sahaki on at this stage. We've got anyone who's not lining quick.
Certainly have two bolts of footballing lightning up front in Henry and Saha now. An Arsenal and Manchester United strike force for the Scottish defence to contend with. Malouda. Henry picking it up very deep. And Sagnol. That'll do, Scotland.
Voici un message pour les supporters français. Nous vous prions de rester assis pendant quelques minutes seulement à la fin du match pour faciliter votre départ du stade en sécurité.
Sagnol.
Nous vous remercions de votre coopération.
McFadden. Challenges fly, and that's a nice touch from Fletcher. It's released Teal. And Ferguson, look at that burst from Hartley. Can he get behind Boumsong? For all the criticism he's faced in the last couple of years, Jean-Alain Boumsong hasn't really put a foot wrong for France tonight. Will be tested again here. Hartley.
Looked to tie a ball in, didn't it? Didn't get inside of his foot round it. James McFadden in a good position otherwise.
Here's Ferguson. Now Christian Daly comes forward. McFadden, clattered by Boumsong.
Surprised there's no yellow card there. Boumsong's never in a position to play the ball here.
After we say that Boumsong hasn't put a foot wrong, he did put one wrong. Scotland looked to benefit from the resulting free kick. McFadden tried the turn, wins the corner.
We'll tell to take some of that. No Lee McCullough now, of course, but Gary Caldwell and David Weir have both gone up.
Paul Hartley to deliver. Weir attacks it, got a head on it. It's back out with Hartley. Could have gone anywhere. They'll settle for another corner.
He gets a little nudge here, David Weir. Doesn't really get anything clean on him. Paul Hartley trying to zip that back across Gregory Coupe's goal. Just good to see us up at this end of the pitch at the moment.
A little respite for the defence and a little hope for the attack. Take two from Hartley, it's into a good area. Scotland have scored! Gary Caldwell! Scotland lead France by 1-0. And Hamden goes absolutely berserk.
Oh, would you believe it? I think if we were going to get one, it was always going to be from a set piece. And even with a defender in either post, there's nothing that France can do here. Caldwell just rounds the back. Oh, just sticks his leg out. It's a terrific ball in from Hartley. David Weir taking markers under the ball at the front post, and Walter Smith can't quite believe it.
Pinch yourself, it's true, it's Scotland 1, France 0. 32 places in the FIFA rankings between these two. I can't stop thinking about what it would mean in terms of the table just yet as Saha gets the header on.
Just trying to help into the top corner, he can't get any pace on that. Back to goal here, trying to help thinking Craig Gordon's coming for that. Oh well, could have believed it.
His second goal for his country, Gary Caldwell. Last time there was an occasion like this here, it was James McFadden who got his name in the history books. So ultimately it was the first leg of a two-leg playoff, and I won't mention what happened in the second leg against Holland. Still provided a night that went down in the famous nights of Scottish football history. This could be right up there with them. Still a quarter of the match to go though. Sagnol. Offside flag up against Louis Saha.
I've gone a bit early, I think. Even Presley just trying to hold that 18-yard line, leaving the space in behind for Craig Gordon to come and take. What a lift this will give the legs of these Scottish players out there, hitting this ground. Absolutely bouncing now.
Where we are sitting, the stand is vibrating. The stadium is rocking. Scotland still coming to terms with the fact that they lead the World Cup finalists by 1-0. Here's Hartley. Now Teal!
Well, there's no support, he's got to take the shot on. He's trying to open his body and find the inside of the far post.
First half, France thought that it was there for the taking. Sadly given a wake-up call here now. The All-Stars of the panache and the flair are down to the battling Scots. Well, perhaps it's they who would settle for the point. Makaleli, Henry the target. Laurent Malouda. Hartley, tigerish in the challenge again. Christian Daly for time wasting. And how costly could that prove? He's out of the next match now, Christian Daly. Fletcher needs to be careful. He's in a similar position to Daly. Vital that Scotland don't let the euphoria run hand and let them lose their heads. This is Ribery. Free kick Scotland.
That'll do nicely. Do nicely. Gets all the pressure off. The thing about the Christian Daly suspension after the game, Bill, got to see this one out first.
Calm on the exterior. What's going on inside though? Another substitution, and he's played an excellent 70 minutes, hasn't he? Clearly not match fit. James McFadden asked to do a job and doing it as you'd expect to the best of his ability.
He's given it every ounce. He's played against the two central defenders on his own. He's so short of games. Must really have been feeling it.
O'Connor of Lokomotiv Moscow comes on for his 9th cap. Scored in his last outing against the Faroe Islands. And wins a header. That's what he will bring to the Scottish party, which is warming up. What a night it'll be in Glasgow tonight if the scoreline stays like this.
challenge from Christian Daly.
Wouldn't afford any sort of margin of error, could he, with that booking picked up for time wasting. Malouda. Thierry Henry. Then goes Hartley again. And Fletcher collides with Vieira. Free kick France's way.
It's not like that in Fletcher. Again, there must be an element of timeless about that. It's not if it's not right on the edge of the box.
Sylvain Wiltord is going to come on for Franck Ribéry. Scored here on this ground the last time Scotland were here in a 2-0 win. One of those French players of the ilk that has won the lot. Taken by Sagnol. You could see what he was trying to do.
Flags up for offside anyway, Bill. And they're trying to get round the back. And Gary Caldwell certainly did get round the back for it. It was a great corner in from Paul Hartley. Not one that Gregory Coupé could come for. David Weir taking Vieira under the ball at the front post. Gary Caldwell round the back. Disappointing thing there for France will be that how low the ball was. Nobody got their head on it. Oh, what a moment for the Scotland centre-back.
What a story it would be if that turns out to be the winner. Thrown into the fire, made his debut in that 5-0 friendly defeat against France in Paris. This could well be redemption time and then some. Vieira. France just starting to commit more and more players forward as they start to chase the game. Marginally over 15 minutes remaining. I'll say it again for you, Scotland 1, France 0. Malouda. Away by Weir. Makelele. Henry down for Wiltord, his former club mate at Arsenal. Now Sagnol. Good play in Craig Gordon.
That is a good play. It's one he should take though. And they're long enough for him to come and take quite comfortably. This is where Gary O'Connor's got to work their back line when the ball's not long to him.
Good toe in by Fletcher. Turan asks questions of Gary O'Connor. He was down in instalments looking for the free kick.
Well, he's never getting one, but good defending from Gary O'Connor. That's what he has to do. Make sure they're not getting out easily on either side through the fullbacks.
200% records came into this game. Tied on 6 points apiece at the top of the group. Only one could ever survive after it, whatever the result was. Goodness me, it looks like it's going to be Scotland's. France, though, over recent years, the masters of comebacks. They can't write them off. Remember the European Championships finals in 2000, they were 1-0 down into the last minute of the game, came back to win it 2-1. A golden goal. Wiltord, who's on the field now. There's the man who got the equaliser. That's a terrific steal by Gary Teal, who's leaving Sagnol in his wake. Turan comes across. Positionally, so astute, Lilian Thuram.
You see when Gary Teal broke up the left-hand side there, neither Hartley, Ferguson or Fletcher were interested in supporting. Goal side first and foremost. The thing in their mind right now with the clock ticking down, so it should be.
Whatever happens in 13 or so minutes time, after being under the cosh, and they were for the whole of the first half. They rode that up, Scotland, but the way they have come out and taken the game to France, just that little bit more to the very limit of the possibilities that they have, has been very, very special for Scotland. This is Vieira. The noise around Hampden continues to build to a crescendo. Vieira. Sagnol's run tracked well by Thiel. France tried the trickery to unlock the door, but still no way through. Alexander, the last line of defence that time. O'Connor, the captain leading from the front. Barry Ferguson slid in towards Hartley. This could seal it for Scotland, but Sharam back in the nick of time.
Again, it's just a tired first touch from Paul Hartley, because Eric Abidal is struggling to get round the back here from the left back position. Better first touch, and Paul Hartley's getting a left foot shot away there. Just got away from him there.
Scotland will be quite happy with the corner, though. Was the route to the goal. Surely it can't happen again, can it? Hartley, Coupe comes and dropped it. No free kick. Henry. Up he goes through the gears. Slipped beautifully to Vieira. Henry wants the return ball. Will be more measured from France. Will talk. Malouda. Vieira. Lovely disguised chip over the top. It was Caldwell who got the last touch. It's a corner kick.
I think it came off Stephen Presley. Gary Caldwell wasn't expecting him to get a nick on it. Nice disguise there from Patrick Vieira. A little nick from Presley. Almost spots Gary Caldwell.
Into the last 10 minutes. Still plenty of defending for Scotland to do. Ripped by Malouda. He's gone back looking for Makelele. That was well won by Barry Ferguson. Now Sagnol. Weir with the block. Malouda. He's left Fletcher behind him, but didn't he do well to get back, Darren Fletcher?
Oh, I had to be so sure that Darren Fletcher that he was taking the ball. So easy to give away a penalty. He's wrong side here as he makes the challenge, Darren Fletcher. He's got to be spot on.
Spot on he was. Malouda's corner again. That take a touch off Caldwell, it did. It's another corner.
I don't think he knew much about it there, Gary Caldwell. Ends up ahead of the ball there.
We knew the pressure would come from France. A third consecutive corner kick. Well away by Caldwell, the hero for Scotland at both ends. Abidal. The cheer tells you it all. Dominic has never lost as France manager in a competitive qualifier. Just one friendly defeat during his time. That came against Slovakia. When you count the World Cup final defeat as penalties as a draw after 120 minutes, which of course it was. This is a France side that going into today had won their last 12 European Championship qualifiers, unbeaten in their last 14, won their last 6 away, and they are just under 8 minutes plus stoppage time away from defeat at Hampden. Makelele. Henry. Makelele. Vieira. Colville again away.
How many's he won tonight? Off that tight, Gary Colville.
As ever, with a performance like this, when you look to get something against the odds, you need everyone to be at their best, everyone to play their part, and so far the boys in blue have certainly done that. But it's Gary Caldwell who will have the headlines if it stays like this, and no one would begrudge him that. Comes Abidal. Time to place his cross, couldn't do it. Alexander got it clear. Malouda now. The block this time by Ferguson. Those that doubt his commitment for the cause for the national side, no one can do that now. Wiltor. Drilled in by Abidal. Zaha!
That's a difficult one to take first time, but they're starting to get a little bit of joy in the wide areas, and maybe again down to tiredness. They're starting to get service into the box now. Earlier on in the match, we were making sure there was nothing coming into the box from the wide areas. Zaha always leaning back there.
Defending from the front, exactly what he'll need to do. Ali McCoist and Walter Smith deep in conversation. McCoist in the side. 17 and a half years ago, the last time that Scotland beat Les Bleus.
Well done, Barry Ferguson. Not just keeping the ball, but finding the right pass as well.
Bailey just ran out of steam, perhaps out of options as well. France look to get it forward and get it forward quick. Wiltor. Malouda. Vieira. And Zaha. David Weir comes away with the ball for Scotland.
Again, well, he's given it the other way. Can't believe that. Even you thought he'd run as a free kick.
Abidal. 4 minutes away now, Scotland. We're away again. O'Connor and Fletcher was content to get France going backwards just for a moment. Not long before they pick up the forward momentum though, with Thierry Henry. Here's Malouda. Henry!
There's a chance. That's the chance. Gary Caldwell pointing the finger at Christian Bailey here, and Henry just gets across the front of the Scotland fullback there. That's a terrific chance.
Terrific run from Henry to ghost into that position. Nothing for the hat-trick of headers in terms of his recent goals. It wasn't to be, and Scotland can burst through Christian Bailey. Just like Weir a few moments ago, he went down looking for the free kick, and the Swiss refereeing party not impressed. Here's Malouda, who's come across to this right-hand side. Louis Zaha now went for the cheeky near post one.
Oh, he's trying to get that back across the face of goal. And that again will do nicely. Dave Gordon in no hurry. But Walter Smith knows that the job isn't done yet. More work still to be done.
Just start to think what it would mean to the group. No one gave Scotland a prayer of getting through, but it started as a dream start with wins against the Faroe Islands and Lithuania. Might just go into fantasy land in around 2 minutes' time. Makaleli. Vieira. Fletcher's challenge, the free kick's gone France's way. Fletcher can't believe it.
That's a needless one to give away because we've got 2 goals side of Vieira there. He didn't know where to go.
Mightily nervous moment in the last minute of the 90. So near, but yet so far. It's Sagnol, and it's wide by Zaha. Came off a Scotland player though on the way through.
You're always liable to lose one when you're as deep as this, right on top of Craig Gordon. And again we see it out.
Sagnol's corner, not the best he's hit this evening. Teal couldn't hook clear. France through Abidal, right back into the mix. Here's Louis Saha now. Fletcher snaps at the heels of his club mate, and Hartley clear. Now O'Connor bursts forward. Ferguson alongside him. Tried to lob it over Coupe.
Well, it was Makaleli's reluctance to go here. Makaleli more concerned with the central area, it allowed Gary O'Connor to try and chip Coupe. Always ambitious.
3 minutes of stoppage time to play. 3 long minutes for Scotland. And at the end of those 3, potentially like 3 precious points. This is Henry, wasn't expecting it to come to him. Sagnol, Gordon's got hold of it.
It all came from Stephen Presley, ending up underneath the ball as it came into the box there. They have been getting joy in the wide area. Sagnol into a terrific area. Real danger was spillage there from Craig Gordon. Did well to keep the gloves on it.
One down, 2 to go for Walter Smith's Bravehearts, and they have been Bravehearts this evening. A roar around Hampden, trying to help them home. Vieira. Makaleli. Boomsong's header. Sagnol just clipped by Alexander. France have a free kick. Scotland, understandably, want to stop them from taking it quickly. Into the last minute of time added on.
Gary Caldwell just trying to say Stephen Presley, hold the 18-yard line.
Sagnol into the mix. Gordon captures it.
Fortunately not enough power in the header there from Wilcox. On the edge of the 6-yard box by the time the ball does come in.
Prepare for the most almighty roar in around 20 seconds time. France side, who 3 months ago were contesting the World Cup final, have one last chance to get back into it. Zaha's header. The referee looks at his watch, and Gary Caldwell's goal has achieved the impossible. Scotland have beaten France and take their place at the top of Group B. If they had a chance, it was the smallest of chances, but they have done it. Cue the celebrations, cue the party. It couldn't happen, could it? Well, it just has.
Well, you know, the only thing we could demand of Walter Smith, though, when he took over, was that he made us as good as we could possibly be, and I don't think anyone can doubt he's done that. We're organised, we're motivated, they want to play now, they want to pull the jersey on, but before they were reluctant and they were dropping like flies when squads were named, and this is just a memorable result. A bit like the old days here in the old ground, and a real moment to savour.
Scenes that will go on long into the night here in Glasgow. 11 heroes in dark blue. Gary Caldwell, the man who got the goal, but contributions from absolutely everyone. It means Scotland are the 100%ers in Group B. Scotland are top of the group, 3 points ahead of the World Cup finalist France. And we'll see later on tonight when Italy take to the field just how good this win has been in terms of the actual group. But in terms of a Scotland performance, it doesn't really get much better than this. This goes up there with the all-time great performances in qualification. Scotland have beaten France, and they have beaten them by 1-0.
Never a doubt. Messrs Gray and Nicholas, of course, displaying their colours this afternoon. John Hartson, who had 5 years in Scotland, has been watching that with us. Absolutely sensational. It's a stunning result, and a performance to go with it as well. Second half from Scotland. They are top of the group. They are 100%, and Scotland have got their pride back. What about that, Andy?
It was fantastic. You mentioned the word pride, and it's the way Charlie and I feel, certainly the way I feel. At the moment, we haven't qualified, but it's another step, a massive step in the right direction. That's probably as good as we can play, I think, as a nation against one of, if not the best footballing nation in the world at the moment, then certainly in the top three. And I don't think we can play any better. Walter got it wonderfully right. Rode our luck in the first half. Could have been 2 or 3 down. We weren't. I said we've got to have more of the ball second half. We did have. We started to ask a few questions, and it was just brilliant. It was brilliant, and they got what they deserved in the end, I thought.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, that's the difference now. Walter Smith, you can get a half-time. They were getting battered at half-time. They got a little bit of luck, but he changes it. He says, I don't need to change the system. Personnel, get a bit further forward from midfield. You've seen Hartley in the last 5 minutes bombing out of the box again, and it just makes a big difference. This is as good as I've seen probably since I finished playing. This team is really taking itself forward and give us a real identity and a spirit back again. Wonderful.
There's a party in Glasgow tonight, Charlie. You might just get back in time for. Well, actually, you will, because it'll go on through the night. Well, this is what it means. Scotland, top of the group, played 3, 9 points. The return. France, the World Cup finalists, in second place, played 3, 6 points their return. Italy have yet to play. They play tonight, but right now, Scotland have got an 8-point advantage.